The Commonwealth is in the house. It's the third-seeded Kentucky Wildcats hosting in-state rival Western Kentucky with a Sweet 16 spot on the line in the NCAA volleyball tournament. All four of the seeds on this side of the Palo Alto Regional were victorious yesterday. They'll be playing today for that chance to be in the third round of the NCAA tournament. Good evening, everyone. I am Jeff Greer alongside Leah Edmond. And Leah, we talked about it yesterday. We're all buzzing about this. It's Kentucky, Western Kentucky, a lot on the line tonight.
Yes, first of all, East versus West here in Kentucky, but second, some of the biggest and most explosive offenses we've seen already this weekend going at it. It's going to definitely be a fun one from that aspect. It's
a big-time matchup with some big-time players. Let's first talk about Western Kentucky. Lauren Matthews was excellent yesterday.
We really weren't sure if she was going to play, but she definitely came out with a vengeance, and not as high of a stat sheet that she usually has, but I know tonight she's definitely going to come out wanting more.
For Kentucky, it was a team performance. 5 different players with 8+ kills. Bella Bell had a fantastic performance.
I don't feel like we give the middles enough love, but Bella Bell last night started off with Kentucky's first 4 points. She is such an offensive middle and also very involved defensively. You will know where she is on the court regardless, offense or defense.
Well, you know it's tournament time when it gets this loud in Memorial Coliseum here in Lexington, Kentucky. It's blue versus red, their third meeting in the NCAA tournament. A couple of players from this Western Kentucky squad were on the team in the COVID NCAA tournament, played in the spring of 2021. They were defeated by the Kentucky Wildcats in the Sweet 16. Of course, Kentucky on their way to a national title in that tournament, all played out in Nebraska. Kentucky had one player in Ajani Teeler, and Western Kentucky had 6 of them. So you know the tops are coming in here with a little bit of revenge on their minds, but the Cats are going to be more than aware of what's at stake here tonight.
Definitely. They're going to want to kind of redeem themselves from that performance that they had, because it definitely wasn't their best. And, of course, Kentucky's going to want to protect their home court and keep that 2-0, turn it to a 3-0 lead over Western Kentucky.
There's always a little bit of extra juice when it's in state, as Travis Hudson has his team in the second round of the NCAA tournament and has been such a huge mainstay in college volleyball. 722 wins. Speaking of Craig Skinner, the absolutely excellent coach for the Kentucky Wildcats, has guided them to 18 consecutive NCAA tournaments, including that national title. Western Kentucky will serve to start things off. And how about this? It is Cameron Mosley who's going to be starting in place of the usual libero, Abby Schaefer, who is out with a back injury tonight. And the Tops get their first point with the junior Mosley on the serve. Mosley from Louisville, just a little more than an hour down I-64 from here in Lexington. You may have heard about that rivalry. And Mosley going down to Bowling Green to play a big opportunity for her, but the Cats getting a point back here, and they'll be on the serve. Speaking of Teeler, the Texas native on the serve here for the Cats, 21-7 this season. 7 consecutive appearances in the second round of the NCAA volleyball tournament. Leah, you have plenty of NCAA tournament experience. You already know there's going to be some nerves, some butterflies coming into this. When you add in sort of the uncertainty of playing a lot of people you know, I would imagine there's a real chance, a real recipe here that this could be a juicy one tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, already the pressure of you're in the second round, so you know you made it through the first one. You know you can do it, but also knowing that if you win this, you go to the Sweet 16, you get to go to California. So definitely knowing that all these people are very familiar with each other, knowing that Western might have a little vengeance behind them, it's going to definitely be a recipe for a really great game.
Travis Hudson talking about his team winning yesterday against Bowling Green. It wasn't clean, but they found a way. As they block in the point there, it's Mosley who has been called in. She's not inexperienced, 60 matches into her third year. And has played now 48 sets for the Tops this year, but has been asked to fill in for an all-freshman team player in Abby Schaefer. It's a big task. First look at Emma Grom on the serve, the SEC Player of the Year, the sophomore from the Cincinnati area, had 44 assists yesterday in the 3-set sweep of Loyola. That serve ran a bit long. And if you're Western, you're probably pretty happy with this start.
Yeah, absolutely. Kentucky's been making a couple more errors, and also Western's gotten really into the defensive game early, which is something I was really intrigued to see. Western, compared to Kentucky, is a little more undersized blocking-wise, but it's already good to see that they're not afraid of who they're going against, no matter how big they are, and getting involved.
And you can see why just there, as Reagan Rutherford sent that thing straight down.
And if you haven't realized, and you're going to see it often, she is a lefty hitter, which makes it extremely hard to play defense. She hits and contacts the ball at a way different point than most right-handed hitters, so definitely an advantage for Kentucky.
Donna Rollins, 15 kills yesterday, a team high. The All-SEC performer on the serve for the Cats. And a block at the net. It was Eisenbarger and Jennifer Rush getting in on the action. Rush was excellent yesterday for the Hilltoppers off the bench. And Eisenbarger will go back to serve for WKU. Second team All-Conference USA. He's played in all but one set this season for WKU, the fifth-year senior. That serve runs a bit long. Both teams with service errors here in the early going. 5-5 in this opening set inside Memorial Coliseum in Lexington. Lauren Matthews skipped out there, point for Kentucky. Craig Skinner, talking about his team yesterday, said it was a significant defensive performance. And he said the Cats are starting to believe, Leah, and that is a scary thought for their opponents as we look at their season summary. This team has been built to make a run. It hasn't always been easy this year, but they are clicking into form.
Yeah, they've definitely had a very, very hard non-conference schedule. They dealt with multiple injuries to almost every starter on the court, so they've definitely had a not easy round of season, but that honestly helps build this team to be the best they can be during tournament time.
A little rally here. And a pancake, nicely done there, diving in front by Eleanor Bevan, and sent straight down by Teeler for the point.
And I mean, it starts with the dig. I mean, big time move. I mean, pancakes, we love pancakes. And then ending that with that big of a swing, and I think there might be a hole in the middle of the ground on that one.
Bevan on the serve. Kentucky on a 4-0 run, make that 5-0 as they take a little bit of hold here in this opening set. Eleanor Bevan on the serve, the sophomore from Louisville. One of the organizers of this team as that serve ran long. 9-6 here. Back to serve for WKU is Ashley Hood, who's wearing a different colored uniform tonight, or different numbered uniform, I should say. Number 22, she was 11 last night. Excellent on the serve. And that slipped through Erin Lamb. Lamb, the sophomore from Minnesota, had 8 kills against Loyola. And helps her team here up 4 in the early stages of this opening set. Rutherford on the serve again. Looking for a rush. It was dug by Bevins and smashed down by Taylor.
And we love the defense, and look at that. I mean, great choice also by Emma Crome. That quick type of dig, you don't always want to push it out to the outside. That's kind of the easy thing. But going to the middle, and Johnny Taylor getting the kill, of course.
Kentucky's in front, +5 here in this opening set for a timeout. Join Sam Gore, Paul Sunderland, and Jennifer Hoffman for the 5th set. They'll have whip-around coverage from all 16 sites in the NCAA volleyball tournament. Stay up to date with all first and second round matches. You can stream the show now on ESPN+. Jeff Greer, Leah Edmond here with you in the second round of the NCAA volleyball tournament. Western Kentucky on the road here playing Kentucky. Leah, I want you to run us through here. When these two teams meet, their coaches have been here for a while. What are you expecting in terms of strategy between these two squads?
Well, because they've known each other for a long time, they know exactly how each one runs their program, runs their offenses and defenses. So at that point, that's a very helpful thing, but also both of these coaches are very experienced, and also both want their teams to play clean volleyball. They want to go to the basics. When all else fails, you do the basics as best as you can. And so you'll see a lot that both of these teams are going to play very cleanly and not make very weird or uncharacteristic errors.
Yeah, both coaches talking about saying they don't beat themselves typically, and that's been the case especially this year. As Katie Howard on the serve, that's knocked away. And the point is for Kentucky. Talk about Western 29-3 coming into this one. They had a 17-game win streak snapped in the Conference USA Championship, losing to Rice, a team they had beaten 10 days prior. But this is a squad that has a ton of experience, and like I said, 6 players on this roster for WKU experienced the pain of losing in the Sweet 16 to Kentucky just about a year and a half ago. So they will be raring to go tonight. Good rally here as Matthews trying to get in the mix. What a get by Bevan! Howard, Hood, kept it alive. Bevan is earning her stripes in just this rally alone. And is dropped in. Excellently done by Callie Bauer, but what a rally.
I mean, they don't call Kentucky Libero U for nothing. I mean, just all-out effort, and that's exactly what you want in the tournament, is just having your Libero being all over the ground, keeping balls alive, and just keeping those rallies together.
12-8 here in this opening set. Rollins had it popped by Eisenbarger. Here's Briggs. And Walker's not going to be able to get to that one as Paige Briggs gets in on the action. Her first kill. And the senior from Michigan who is All Conference USA, will be very much tuned in tonight. She had a rough Sweet 16 match a few years ago, and as someone who we all know is one of the best players that there is in college volleyball, this is a big opportunity for her. As they tee her up again. Kentucky got to it. Rollins looking for Eisenbarger. And this is another good rally. There's Mosley. Bauer tried to drop that in. Rollins again. Bauer to Eisenbarger. Got tricky with it, but it's kept alive again by Bevan. This is a heck of a back and forth. Briggs. I hope no one's holding their breath. This thing is still going. Rollins. Bauer to Eisenbarger. An exclamation point, but what a series that was.
I mean, the defense on both sides, they were not giving this point up without a fight. And of course, it ended off with a middle kill. She had one blocker up and just perfect setting choice, but also that defense, that was picturesque. That's exactly what you want to see at this point of the tournament.
A 3-0 run here from Western Kentucky to get it back to a 2-point deficit. And I mean, I feel like we need to catch our breath after those last 2 points.
I know, you would have thought that we've been playing for a long time with those type of rallies, but I mean, that's what tournament volleyball is, and that's how exciting volleyball is.
We'll talk about the tournament resumes here for both teams. You first look at Western Kentucky, 22 in the RPI. They are a team that likes to schedule tough early in the year to get some of those Power 5 opponents on their schedule. Travis Hudson, in his time, 28 seasons at Western, has 58 Power 5 wins for the top, so you know they are not afraid of the moment.
Yeah, they exactly know what they're getting into when it comes tournament time. They have the experience. They've been against the opponents that they're going to see during this time. And that's exactly what you want as a coach. You want to schedule the hard games. You want to play against the good opponents, so then when you get to December, you know exactly what you need to do to win.
And for Kentucky, the number 10 team in the RPI, and they were 5-5 before they ripped off a 15-2 record to finish it. They have been very good in the NCAA tournament as well. The Cats advancing to a 7th consecutive second round in this NCAA tournament with the win yesterday over Loyola.
I mean, Kentucky has so much tournament experience. Almost every person on this roster has experienced a tournament game. They've experienced a tournament win also, which is, I think, is so huge. They know exactly what they need to do, and they've been in the type of situations they know the type of pressure that tournament games can bring.
Back out on the floor, and Cameron Mosley, the junior for Western Kentucky, called into emergency action, filling in for Abby Schaefer. And that serve is out of bounds, so Kentucky will get a chance to be on the serve. It'll be Teeler. A 13-10 match here in the opening set. And Mosley that time had a hard time reading it.
And I have a feeling Kentucky is purposely going after her serve receive wise just to kind of put some pressure on there, since this is her first time playing libero in a match.
Briggs, and it's scooped up in the back line by Whitworth. Rollins comes across and finishes it off. A quick 3-point burst from the Cats.
And really great swing. Sometimes outsides have a tendency to want to pull down when they're going against a smaller block, but she's still hitting high, aiming for those high hands and getting a kill to an area of the court that no one was at.
This will be an interesting game for Ajani Teeler because it's her hometown school she's playing against, a Bowling Green kid. As the point there for Paige Briggs has it to 15-11. On the serve here is Callie Bauer, the only Conference USA player this year with a triple-double, was all-conference selection and the freshman of the year. As The Tops get a point there to get it back to 15-12. There's Rollins. And Rollins has been huge already for Kentucky, up to 4 kills.
And after that first ball was a little tight, so very smart to go into the block. And Western Kentucky currently is leaving her a lot of line, and she's definitely capitalizing on that.
Here's Emma Grome on the serve for Kentucky. And it's going to fall in for the Cats, back up to a 5-point lead. Grome has been so impressive, was a standout as a freshman, and came right back this year and has put together an even better performance, as that serve is a bit too hard. A couple more service errors than you would expect from these teams so far, 4 of them.
Well, both of these teams are very strong serving teams, and I know that they both know that they can't let the other side get a perfect pass because then their offenses are running. So definitely going to see a lot more aggression from the service line, making sure that they're getting these teams out of system.
Smash down from Rutherford as you're at 18-13. Rollins back for the serve. Second on the team in kills. She was a 2-time All-Big Ten player for Minnesota. And drops that service ace in.
That ball just dropped off the table, and we call that a mid-zone, so it looks like it's going towards the passer, and then at the last moment just kind of loses all air and just goes straight down to the ground.
Timeout on the floor, Western Kentucky. It's 19-13 Kentucky. Let's look at how we got here. Western Kentucky swept Bowling Green. It was a fun match. It was a pretty well contested match. 3-0 doesn't quite do it justice, but as Travis Hudson said, it was ugly, but they found a way to get through it into the second round.
Yeah, very much back and forth. Multiple times during that game, Bowling Green was ahead by a substantial amount of points, and Western kind of chipped away at those points and were able to win the set. But definitely very back and forth. Lots of changes. You were seeing a lot of things happening in both of those.
And for Kentucky, it was a pretty dominant performance. Loyola was a good team, put up a great fight, but Kentucky with a comfortable 3-set win, including 2 wins by 5 points. Really a spirited effort. There were a lot of rallies, but Kentucky got a lot of the bounces to go their way.
Yeah, Loyola was not going down without a fight, and there were multiple times during that game that we were like, oh my goodness, it's only been 3 points, and it feels like it should have been 10, but all around, really beautiful offensive performance by Kentucky. I mean, you had 5 people going off, hitting positively all over 300 as well, which for volleyball, that is unheard of. That's almost playing perfect. Very few errors, and they were definitely putting a whole lot of serving pressure on Loyola as well.
How about this, Leah? 12 straight set wins for Kentucky, and they are 6 points away from 13 straight set wins.
That takes a lot of focus, and I mean, that's just not games, that's sets. So it's easy. You can still win a game and lose sets. So that tells you the immense amount of focus that they're having going into this time of year.
Well, they were swept back on November 19th against number 10 Florida at Florida in Gainesville. Turn around and won the next day in a sweep. Swept South Carolina in back-to-back matches, and then swept Loyola. And they'd be thrilled to have any result that moves them forward into the Sweet 16 here tonight. Bell. It's a cross and another point for the Cats. It's 20-13.
She's been a little quiet to start the set compared to yesterday, but getting the ball to that middle, like we said in the beginning of the game, they're going to have to get their middles involved in order to spread out these offenses, since both of these teams can be pin heavy at some points.
Bauer looking for Rush, and Rush dipped that in. And it was Kennedy Coyle, excuse me.
And really smart shot by her. Everybody's been swinging away. Sometimes the best thing to do is switch up the tempos. Defense is probably ready to dig balls way deep and just dropped it short.
Coming in on the serve is the freshman for WKU, Callahan Wiegand, into Holy Cross. Her mom, Danielle, playing at Ole Miss in the 90s, so she's familiar with SEC volleyball. Bell just nudges it over. Here's Rush, and a point for Western Kentucky.
And really smart shot. They knew, defense knew where that ball was going out to the pin, and using those big hands off of the right sand hitter, it's really important as a blocker that your hands are facing in towards the court where things like that might happen.
Here comes Wiegand, making her 18th appearance. And that was hard hit from Rutherford.
Just big time swing. There was a hole in between that block and just found a way to get it through.
21-15. Eleanor Bevan back to serve here for Kentucky. Averaging 4 digs a set, all freshman selection last year. As Matthews gets the point for the Tops. And I feel like we haven't had a chance to talk a whole lot about Lauren Matthews. What do you like about her?
I just like how aggressive and confident that she is swinging. I mean, no matter what type of ball, she's going for it, and you rarely see her tip, which is totally fine. But I like how confident of a hitter she is and how much her team can lead on her, even from a middle position, which might be hard to get her the ball most of the time.
A 3-time Conference Player of the Year. That was her first kill. As Taylor comes across, and I got to own up to this. She's a Texas native. I misread my notes.
Good old
so shout out
Dallas,
to Texas. Lone Star State. Taylor coming across big time again. She's been excellent 2 days in a row already.
Yeah, she's so active, and she's a former outside, so Kentucky loves moving her between the middle and the right side, depending on what they need.
That serve right at Mosley. It had a little knuckle to it. And the Cats are now 2 points away from winning the set. It's Rutherford on the serve, another Texan, all SEC selection. This is Rush. Grove looking for Lamb. Hood kept it alive. Grove again, this time it is Taylor with the thunder for the Cats, and they're a point away.
And that's what we're talking about. She's so versatile. So last point we saw her running the ball up the middle, and now in transition moving to the right side and hitting a regular pinball.
Rutherford 11 kills, 3 blocks, 2 digs last night against Loyola. Starts things off. Net at the net there, it's still alive. A pancake from Bevan, what a match she's having already. Now Matthews, and that had some venom behind it.
I mean, it starts with the defense. Look at that pancake, that beautiful. And then of course a kill when Western needs a kill the most. Who they go to? Lauren Matthews.
Bevan is playing out of her mind.
She is throwing her body all over the place.
And it's Taylor who puts the exclamation point on a fantastic first set for the Kentucky Wildcats. It's 1-0 in the battle here between teams in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. UK leading WKU with a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line here inside Memorial Coliseum in Lexington. Someone who has been dialed in a lot in matches. If you're Eleanor Bevan, like, is she feeling right now that she is absolutely dialed in? Does she know that?
Oh, absolutely. I think some of the plays that she's making, you can't make those plays. You can't make those reads unless you are dialed in. And being able to pick up those really short tips and things like that, you have to be dialed in. You can't, as a libero, most of your decisions are kind of like split second, like you're reacting, but the more dialed in, the more locked in, like she has to know the game plan just like everybody else. She has to be in the right position, she has to be in the right setups, or else she won't be able to make a dig too. So definitely she has to be locked in just like any other player would.
She is playing fantastic volleyball right now. and helped significantly in getting Kentucky to a 25-17 first set win, ready for set number 2. And the freshman Audrey Whitworth will start things off for Kentucky with a service error. And the Tops will get back the chance to add to this early lead. Callie Bauer, the redshirt freshman from Hudson, Michigan, near Toledo, just over the line in Ohio. Grome to Taylor.
And that's the great thing about her, is that she can run anything. And so that versatility, especially when things may not be going the right way and they might not be able to get the ball to the middle, being able to move her to the outside and just set her a high ball and let her go after it is such an advantage.
Taylor back on the serve, already 6 kills. Got scooted over there by Eisenbarger. Good dig there. That time was not going to be stopped by anyone. Bella Bell coming across.
And I mean, she was one-on-one, just had her way. Really good at hitting that sharp cross-court shot.
2-1 Kentucky in the early stages of the second set, trying to grab this match by the scruff. It's Taylor back to serve for the Cats. There's Briggs, and Taylor had a hard time getting back to that one. That was well hit. Western Kentucky, a team that has used the same starters in all but 2 matches. They're going to have to try to find a way to cut back on some of the service errors. That's 3 so far for them.
Yeah, it's hard to know the in-between of you want the ball to be in, but you also don't want it to be easy. And so that's going to definitely be something both of these teams are trying to figure out is, okay, we can make errors, but also we need balls in and we need to be able to play as well. We don't want to give away easy points.
Grome on the serve. Coming across with the smash down is Kennedy Coyle, the sophomore from Bloomington.
And we got another lefty, and like I said before, lefties are able to hit shots and angles that people that are right-handed can't hit, and you can see right there that sharp cross is easily able to beat the block. Block was a little too far to the pin, so easy cross-court kill.
It's Katie Eisenbarger back on the serve. Track and field star, was the Conference USA outdoor high jump champ. Bell smashing that down for the Cats to give them the lead again. Donna Rollins on the serve, working on her master's in higher education. Matthews with a sharply hit ball. 3 kills now for her.
That was a great swing. As you can see, she had 3 blockers in front of her, which is just, I mean, that's first as many blockers as you can have, and also extremely difficult as a hitter to find some court, and she found a way anyway.
Averaging 13.2 kills per NCAA tournament game in her career. She's played in quite a few of them. That is a delicate touch from Rutherford to give the Cats the lead back.
Really smart and high IQ play. She's been swinging away the entire game, so you saw that Western Kentucky defense was pulled back, ready to dig her hard and deep, and just drops it in right behind the blocker.
And Eleanor Bevan back on the serve. And that was a good one. That is 6 service aces for the Cats. Bevan at it again here. Another tough one to deal with, but WKU keeps it alive. Grome was looking for Rutherford, and it took a touch. These are the early moments, Leah, where you've got to be careful. You're playing on the road. You don't want this to be a run that kind of separates the teams here early in the set.
Yeah, the last thing you want in the tournament is to allow someone go on a run, because once you hit those 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, it's going to be really hard to try to get yourself back in it. Especially early on, you really want to keep the game as close as you can.
It's a 4-0 scoring run for Kentucky, and they now lead 8-4. And Bevan has been dynamic in the serve. Matthews ends that run emphatically.
And that's just a big time swing, and I love how aggressive she goes up and just able to find open parts of the court. I mean, every time she swings tonight, she's probably going to have at least 4 hands in front of her, and so her being able to find the court still just shows how great of a volleyball player she truly is.
Katie Howard, one of the top servers in the country this year, a rare service error for her. It's the serve back to Rutherford and Kentucky. Rutherford from Missouri City, Texas, on the serve. Here's Briggs, almost snuck it in. Briggs again, kept alive by the Cats. Scrome looking. Taylor almost shuffled that in, but Matthews finishes things off.
And that was a heavy and hard swing. There was definitely a little bit behind that. We could hear that bounce off of Eleanor Bevan all the way over here.
Eleanor Bevan had a big grin on her face after that, as if to say.
It's kind of like, you know what? We're gonna let her have that one. There's some times in volleyball where there's just something so good that you're like, you know what? She can have that one. I'll get the next one.
It's a beautiful sport, and that is one of the many reasons for it. 9-6 Kentucky. Western trying to hang around here in set number 2, down 1-0. Eisenbarger does well at the net. Good get all the way across from Howard, but I think her teammate there tripped on her. It was Hood trying to get to it. Just a mess of bodies there.
It looked like a little miscommunication on that as well. Both of them were going for it, and then at the last second you see kind of looking at each other like, who's going to get it? But yeah, that's kind of one of the unfortunate parts of volleyball as well.
10-6, Audrey Whitworth, the freshman from right here in Kentucky, on the serve. Eisenbarger coming across. Taylor, the delicate touch, but Western able to keep it going. And a good job there for Briggs to get the point for the Tops.
And really smart shot by her also. I could see from our angle, we're sitting behind her. She turned her hand, kind of brought that thumb down and just hit it softly. Definitely didn't hit as hard. That's a really hard shot to hit hard. So really smart by her.
Back on the serve, Callie Bauer, the redshirt freshman. All conference, all freshman team, led the league in assists. But the serve runs long. It's 5 service errors now for Western, and it's 11-7 Kentucky. Johnny Taylor, just an exceptional athlete and a great serve.
And that was just really good float serve, barely crossed over the top of that tape and not really giving the passer any chance to kind of get under that ball.
Thing looked like a UFO going over the net. It did again there. Good get for Mosley. Briggs. And trying to set it up for Rollins. And a quick point. Did it stay up? No, it did not. It'll be a point for WKU.
Really smart decision. She's been struggling a little bit. Hitters aren't getting kills, and sometimes setters got to take it into their own hands. And great shot to the donut. That setter dump to that middle of the court. It's so hard to defend because 3 people could take it, 4 people could take it. It's just really up in the air.
It's Briggs back. Paige Briggs, the glue of this Western team. A good serve. Rush coming across. A net violation. It would have been a point regardless. It's 12-9. Travis Hudson, such high praise for Paige Briggs. He called her the most underrated player in college volleyball. 11 days away from her birthday, trying to get an early gift here with a win at Kentucky. But it is going to be a tough task as the Cats get one back and take a 4-point lead.
And really smart shot. She had 4 hands in front of her, and just going off the hands, I don't think people realize when you use your hands as a hitter, you open up about 30 more feet of court because they can go really anywhere, as you saw with that one, went flying to the side.
Grome on the serve. That was Coyle, but it's out of bounds. It'll be a point for the Cats. And the lead back out to 5. Emma Grome, such a hard-working player, smart player. Craig Skinner saying she walked over to him immediately after the selection show and wanted to watch film. And that time just off of the line judge, Bev Ree, for a point for Western Kentucky. Michelle Prater is your first referee tonight. Big match here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Matthews met at the net. And the Cats take a 5-point lead here. Halfway through the second set, already up 1-0 on Western Kentucky. Let's take a look at the bracket here, the scores around the NCAA tournament, as things have really started to pick up. And for Leah, a Kentucky grad, a little awkward. It's Tennessee. I know they're the rivals. I know how that works, but it's also SEC. You were following it closely, but Purdue gets out of there with a 3-2 win. A lot of 5-set matches here today.
Yeah, it was really interesting to watch, actually. A really kind of lopsided match to start off. Both teams were hitting almost 600 the first 2 sets offensively, and that's kind of unheard of. That means kind of defense was non-existent, but then at the end of that match, kind of got a little bit more even, a lot more back and forth, and yeah, it was a good hit. They kept inching back at the end. I believe it was like almost 14-11. They were trying to come back, and then at the last moment, Purdue came out with the win.
Well, you see there, as we've kind of noticed this across the tournament so far, the seeded teams are winning, even if they are getting tests along the way, as Purdue and Tennessee, that game went 5. Iowa State as well, struggling a little bit with Florida Gulf Coast. Let's talk a little bit about the serve. Kentucky 7 aces so far tonight, and that is a lot for a team that has 40 points so far.
Yeah, that is a big number, very uncharacteristic, not a normal number you would see. But yeah, just really being aggressive from the serving line, and that's what you want. Even though they have 5 errors, that 5-to-7 ratio is kind of what you want as a coach. You're okay with the errors because of how many aces you're getting, but very solid and consistent serving. That's something we saw last night as well. They're serving very consistent, giving the same ball over the net regardless.
It'll be Adana Rollins, who does have an ace of her own, ready to serve. She's got 5 kills and 5 digs. Rush coming across, had some menace on that. Kept alive though, Lamb. Mosley had to go get it, she popped it up. Rush has to just get it over. And that time is gonna be a tough battle for the tops. 16-10 here in this second set. And Rollins, former high school All-American on the serve. The Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior in high school in the state of Texas. And another point for the Cats off the serve. 17-10. Memorial Coliseum loving what it's seeing right now. Matthews Just enough blocked off of it. And the Cats are able to get a point back on that rally. 18-10. This is a 4-0 scoring run for Kentucky.
That was a really great, smart shot, kind of almost in system, a little bit in between, but Falls fails to use those hands.
Rush. Net at the net. She get another try at it. Her and Matthews bumped into each other. Hard hit from Rutherford. And the point will go to the Cats.
Yep, there was a double called on that, which on that second contact, the ball can't really spin. It's one of those things that we call a judgment call. So the upper official, the one standing up the top of the net, gets to make that decision. And it's kind of one of those you can't argue at all. It's whatever she sees goes.
19-10 here as the Cats are getting some breathing room in the second set. And Matthews rises up to get the point for WKU. A much-needed score for the Tops to stop the bleeding. It was a 5-0 run. Ashley Hood, the fifth-year senior from Illinois. Has played now 110 sets this season for WKU. And she is not going to be able to get to that one. That was well struck from Lamb.
Just really great set. Left her basically one-on-one, but even then she went outside the block. Just really great all-around swing and really smart decision.
Eleanor Bevan back on the serve for Kentucky. Good rally this one. Matthews finishes it off. 7 kills for Lauren Matthews.
Just really great swing. And at this point in the game, Western Kentucky needs some points, and who are they going to go to their big hitter? So really great decisions, and if they can get her involved a little bit more, that's definitely where they should be headed at this point in the game.
Katie Howard, an all-freshman selection last season, a sophomore on the serve. And once again, Erin Lamb rising up and hitting it straight down.
And that's the positive of being a bigger outside. It's kind of easy to hit over the block, so that one just goes right over their hands. Really hard to defend a ball that kind of just flies over. It can go anywhere.
6 kills for Lamb. Rutherford on the serve. Comes Lamb again, and she is dialed in this set. It's a 10-point Kentucky lead, and Western needs a timeout here to talk things over. Talk about the well-rounded performance yesterday, Leah. They had 5 players, the Cats, with 8 or more kills. They're doing it again tonight, and Erin Lamb is the one who is dialed in right at the moment.
Yeah, she's a sophomore, and really this is her first time getting to play in an NCAA tournament, and she's definitely putting on a show, has a very heavy arm, and can hit high above the block, which makes it really hard to defend. I mean, when you have a ball that's not touching the block, not even going down, you have no clue where it's going. So doing a fantastic job today of just being a very confident hitter in this circumstance.
365 hit percentage so far for Kentucky. You can see why with some of those numbers across the leaderboard. And this is something that Craig Skinner was talking about. He loves the depth of this team, and we saw it last night. Mentioned it, they're doing it again tonight. They've got so many weapons that they can go to at any time in the match.
It's such an advantage to not have your go-to hitter. And not having a go-to hitter makes it so hard for defenses to set up because you don't know who's getting the ball. And also with how Kentucky has their lineup set, some of their best hitters are always front row. So you have a Donna Rollins, a Johnny Teeler, and Reagan Rutherford almost in a triangle. So regardless, one of those 3 are always front row. And then you add on Erin Lamb and Bella around. That's going to be really hard to ever catch a break defensively if you're the opposite team.
Erin Lamb, responsible for 4 of the last 5 points for Kentucky, and the 5th was a service error, so she has been a force the last couple rallies here as the Cats try to close out this second set and take a commanding lead. Groh, who else is she going to look to? But this time Lamb left it a little long on the near side. A 9-point Kentucky lead. Cameron Mosley will go back to serve. Bauer looking for Briggs, and that was well struck.
Just a really nice cross-court swing. The block was pulled all the way to the pin, and she just goes right past them.
Paige Briggs has 5 kills, 22-14. Mosley on the serve. Taylor had a little space in the middle.
And just wasn't even a hard swing. Just a little shot, just a little roll, and sometimes that's all you need. A kill's a kill on the stat sheet, regardless of how hard you're hitting it.
Audrey Whitworth, service specialist for Kentucky. +9 here with a chance to get her team a point away from set point. Bauer was met at the net by Rollins, and Kentucky up 10 here with a chance to claim the second set. Whitworth on the serve. And it's just a bit too hard off that back line. Callie Bauer will be the server here. Coming into the tournament, 1,171 assists this season. An excellent setter. Here comes Briggs, kept alive. Rollins. Now Bauer looking for Briggs again, and that time it's out of bounds. And the Tops get the points.
Really great swing just off the hands. She had 4 hands in front of her, not much space to try to get it across the net, so just going straight off the hands, really smart shot.
Another serve there, and that time Bauer just not able to get it over the net. That's where we'll leave things. Kentucky claims set number 2. They are in firm control here with a spot in the Sweet 16 on the line. Kentucky up 2-0 on Western Kentucky here at Memorial Coliseum in Lexington.
Tell me that, hey, it's going to be okay. We've been in this position before. Like, don't worry about it. Don't stress yourself out. So, but it's really nice to see her coming into her own and having her own confidence in tournament.
This would be the 3rd time in the last 5 years that Kentucky has been in the regional. If they're able to keep playing the way they've been playing. The first time that these two teams met in the NCAA tournament was back in 2017. Leah, there's a lot of threads between these two teams tying them together from that match.
Yeah, there are. So we have 2 assistant coaches on the Western side and 1 assistant coach on the Kentucky side, and me included, that got to play in that match here, and it was a wild one, to say the least.
It's hard for me to not notice the stat line for Leah here. That is quite an array of performance building stats they had there.
Tournament time just brings out all different types of people, and tournament definitely brought out a whole new side of me, and especially getting to play in Memorial. And this place was absolutely packed. It was an experience, to say the least, because Western was kind of in Kentucky's position right now. They were up 2-0, and Kentucky, we came back at the last moment, but definitely very memorable. And there were people in that game that were very memorable. Alyssa Kavanaugh, who sadly passed away, but was such an incredible volleyball player, and really happy that I got the chance to play against her when she was at Western.
And Western has had the opportunity to keep honoring her legacy. And obviously, just so sad, an incredible player. And the Conference USA Player of the Year award named after her now. And Lauren Matthews has won it 3 times, a big honor in the league. As this set got off to just about as good of a start as WKU could ask for, but Kentucky gets its first point here to get it to 4-1. And the serve now is Teeler. The Cats have won 14 consecutive sets. As that took, WKU thought that took a touch.
Let's look at it. From that angle, I'm gonna go, it kind of clearly went out, but I will say at this point in the season, every point matters. And so I'm definitely not shocked that we're seeing a challenge at this point in the game.
There's a lot on the line here for Western. They've got to win 3 in a row. And the difference here is either 4-2 or 5-1. So they will take a look. The officiating crew tonight, Michelle Prater, Kevin Wendelboe, and Michael O'Connor. What do you think there, Leah?
See, now from that angle, it could have barely scraped an arm coming down. And the thing about a touch is that all it has to be is a little bit. It doesn't have to be outright, it doesn't have to be big, it just has to be a small amount touch you. So it's gonna be a hard one. I'm 1 for 2 this weekend. It's hit or miss. Yesterday I was wrong for the first match, Bowling Green and Western, but I got the Kentucky Loyola one, so we'll see. I was not allowed to put my opinion forward when I was playing if I wanted to challenge it. I did it one time, and Craig Skinner was like, I'm never listening to you again. And I was like, that sounds like a good idea, Craig.
The look here is a significant one. It would be Emma Grom who was involved. And it does get reversed, so WKU gets the point back. And instead of being 4-2, it's 5-1. That is no small difference in a game of inches here in the NCAA tournament. Callie Bauer back to serve for the Tops. Paige Briggs now with a team best 9 kills to go with 6 digs and 3 blocks. Referees are all in position again. And play will resume here. Bauer on the serve. Mosley looked across to Coyle, and Coyle couldn't quite get it over.
It was a good idea. I saw her thinking that part of the court was open, just wasn't able to get it over the tape.
Cameron Mosley called into action tonight, stepping in for Abby Schaefer at libero. Schaefer, the all-freshman selection, and a key part of this WKU team. They're trying to will their way back into this match without one of their leaders.
And this is what Western needs right now. It was an okay pass, but with that middle run, they do that front slide. It allows you a little bit more space to still get a connection, but really, really smart idea and great decision. And we haven't seen that a lot tonight, so hopefully to get that more involved for them.
Eisenbarger was huge last night. Just 2 kills tonight for the Tops had 10 last night. And there's another big one for WKU. 7-2 in this third set.
That was just off the dig, a really nice high swing through that seam. When you have a seam like that, it is so hard for your defense to kind of set around, because now you're leaving a lot more space on the court that shouldn't technically be there if the block is taking it.
Well, you knew Western would travel. They've certainly got quite a bit of red here in the one section, especially behind their own bench. But they have started out blazing hot here in this third set, forcing Craig Skinner to burn a timeout here. They're playing like a team that knows they've got to turn it up right now.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they're down 2-0. This is the last effort. This might be the last set that they play, so you have to put it all out there. And you definitely see them, whatever was said during that 5-minute break in between sets definitely impacted them, because they're up 7-2 now. They're playing a whole lot cleaner. You're seeing a whole lot better setting decisions. More people are getting open, and just an all-around better game than they've been playing the first 2 sets. Travis
Hudson, talking about his team before coming to Lexington, said they've experienced quite a bit of their own challenges. Kelsey Brangers, coming into the season, was their go-to libero. Out for the year, injured her knee. When Schaefer stepped in and had to deal with other injuries throughout the course of this campaign. But this group has persevered through a lot of it. They've kept a close starting lineup as possible. All but 2 matches, the same starters, and a bunch of them played every single set for this team. So you know that they are not going to go quietly here, with a chance at the Sweet 16 on the line and an in-state foe across the net from them. Briggs on the serve out of the timeout, and Bell comes right down the middle to get one back for the Cats.
I want to start with that pass. I mean, diving and still right on the setter's head, but really smart decision. The middles have somewhat been involved for both sides, but really smart to go to her, left 1 on none.
Rollins on the serve for Kentucky. Cross, and that was going to be tough to deal with. Coyle with some real power behind it.
Good old lefty swing, just beat the block right through the seam, and just looks like there's a little bit too much power trying to get that dig up.
8-3 here in this third set. Eisenbarger on the serve. From the suburbs of Indianapolis and Zionsville. And that was a tough serve to deal with. Teed up for Lauren Matthews.
A really smart decision. I mean, it was a short serve. Haven't really seen that very often, but took the right side out and also wasn't able to handle it, so easy overpass kill.
Matthews up to 8 kills tonight for WKU. Another good serve from Eisenbarger. Lamb just has to play it over. Here comes Rush, met at the net by Rutherford and Bell.
Really solid block, big moves by both in that late cover, but that was all Reagan Rutherford. Really great press over the net, just really solid hands facing in the court. Nowhere else for that ball to go but down.
3 blocks tonight for Rutherford, such a versatile player. And that time is going to be a point for Western as they beat the block.
Really great swing on that. Erin Lamb looked like she was late coming to that one and just used her hands and went flying out.
10-4, Western in front here in this third set. Ashley Hood on the serve. Is it short? This is Teeler working with Grome and coming across Rutherford again. Reagan Rutherford, so good. Keeps getting better and better each year and has been excellent in these 2 matches.
Yeah, that stat line really shows you how much growth that she's making during the offseason, becoming more involved. This is her first year playing back row, being involved in 6 rotations, so definitely good to see. That's what you want as a volleyball player, that you continually get better every single year.
All SEC selection on the serve. As Kentucky inching its way back into the set. Taylor tried to sneak that in. Bevan was keen to it. And a strong finish again from Taylor this time.
And there we have it again, being able to move her in front of the setter and behind the setter is just so hard to defend because you don't know what tempo you're getting from her and you don't know where the ball is going as well.
Emma Grome 30 assists tonight. Taylor 10 kills. Rutherford back on the serve again. She has one service ace tonight. That one runs a bit hot, and a point to stop the 3-0 run as Western goes back up 4. Katie Howard, the hometown kid, went to Greenwood High School in Bowling Green. Is a bit hot. 7 service errors tonight for Western Kentucky. No aces. And that might be something that Travis Hudson talks about in the postgame, regardless of the end result of this match.
Yeah, a little too high error-wise serving. I mean, that's how you get the play started. So it's really hard that you're not giving your team a chance if you're always serving the balls out. But looking a little bit better serving-wise this set than they have in the previous.
A little bit of a miscommunication there, but it's kept alive by WKU. Rollins comes across, though, and finishes it. 11-9 Western Kentucky.
A really great high swing. I mean, they got a free ball, and what do you do with the free ball? You get a kill. I mean, it's so easy with those. It's right on the setter's head. You have no clue as a defense where that ball's going.
Audrey Whitworth on the serve for Kentucky. Bauer to Briggs. And that is a point for the Cats again.
Good idea. Trying to go high, trying to grab those hands, but sometimes just going a little bit too high over them.
Second 3-0 run in the last 7 points now for Kentucky to get it back to a 1-point deficit, a chance to tie here in the third set, already up 2-0. Mosley just has to get it over. Grome, Taylor, point for Kentucky. Take a timeout on the floor. Western Kentucky and Kentucky all locked up at 11 apiece here in this third set. And the Cats have done a lot of good work to get back into this set after Western came out really hot.
Yeah, I mean, we saw very uncharacteristic from what we had been seeing the first 2 sets, errors from Kentucky and kind of misjudgments, and Western was going. But like I said, they got that one service error and kind of took themselves out of it and let Kentucky get back in there. So very much a different game, and now we're tied, and I don't think Western's happy that they're in this position.
It was 7-2 and then 10-4 Western, but Kentucky has responded by scoring 7 of the last 8 points. This is a 4-0 scoring run. What are you talking about in this timeout if you're Travis Hudson in Western Kentucky?
Well, serving. I mean, their serving right now is the big thing that's not happening in this game. They have no aces, which means that Kentucky is also doing a good job of just keeping balls off the ground, but definitely got to add some serving pressure, kind of have to put some pressure on Kentucky, not letting them get easy kills, putting the ball in different places. So even if you're Western Kentucky, even if you're not able to get a big swing, a big hit, still putting the ball in places that keep Kentucky out of system. So getting the ball to the setter more so you have other people playing it, getting people down to the ground. They were doing a good job of starting to serve the hitters, making them have to play the ball first before they can go and hit, and sometimes taking them to the ground. So just having to get back to that, being more smart volleyball, allowing Kentucky to get kind of out of system and giving themselves more chances to score.
Well, they averaged just under 2 service aces a set this season. They had 5 yesterday. Western Kentucky did only 4 service errors against Bowling Green. This is a frustrating drop-off for Western Kentucky as the Cats take a 12-11 lead, a 5-0 scoring run. And Audrey Whitworth back for the serve again for the Cats. Western playing to keep its season alive, down 2-0. Rollins. And that's going to drop out of bounds on the block attempt. Kentucky. 13-11 Kentucky. Matthews, and we were always going to assume that it'd be her or Briggs getting dialed up here at a big point for the Tops to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, when they need the point, who do they go to? Their big hitter, and it starts with a pass. They were able to get a good pass, get the middles involved, and it's really hard to get Matthews involved in this game because they haven't been passing well enough. Getting balls to the middle are so hard, and especially with her type of ball, you really need a ball on the setter's head.
That's a big hit back from Taylor. 14-12 Kentucky. Taylor leading all players so far in this match with 12 kills. A 500 hit percentage. On the serve, Taylor. Here's Briggs, met at the net by Bell and Grome.
Big time block by them. Armpits over the net, and really great finish by Bella Bell back into the court, kind of leading that ball back away from the outside. 3
blocks for Bella Bell. Her team's up 3. Eisenbarger coming in hot, gets one back for WKU.
Really like that setting decision. Again, it starts with the pass. The pass was there, and they were able to get it to her. Just Western has to get other people that aren't the pins involved and not Paige Briggs and Lauren Matthews, because right now it's really easy for Kentucky to know that it's going to them.
Eisenbarger, 3 kills. Bell comes across, and that's going to be a tough one for Bauer to get to. Starting to say Bella Bell's name quite a bit here. And the Cats are up 3, 9 points away from the Sweet 16. A place Kentucky volleyball is more than familiar with. Obviously designs on going even deeper than that. Eisenbarger, and it's scooped up. Good rally. That's going to be met at the net, and a big point for Briggs to get that down for Western.
And that was an interesting play. Just set did not go where it wanted and was very tight. A lot going on at that net.
Briggs now back to serve. Has played in every set this season for WKU. But that serve just missed. She was trying to find that back corner.
Good idea. I mean, it's inches, and serving is just a game of inches. Like, you could be an inch away from a ball being in and out or being to the right person.
Donna Rollins back to serve here, the senior from Carrollton, Texas. Coyle had that one redirected out of bounds, and another big point. It seems like she's had a couple of times where she's been the one to get a point that Western needs.
Yeah, and I mean, just really smart shot off the hand. She has a big block in front of her and just using that to her advantage. But yeah, getting lefty more involved.
5 kills for Coyle. 17-15 Kentucky leads. WKU on the serve. Eisenbarger. Good serve. Bevan got to it. Lamb. Men at the net, still alive. That's Rutherford, and that's in by about an inch, but it was a good hit.
Yeah, very deep corner swing, and that's one of those where you're like, it could be in or out, but very good swing.
Eleanor Bevan, who has been excellent tonight for Kentucky on the serve. That time, though, runs a bit long, 18-16. And it's just hovering around that 2 or 3 point margin here into the teens. Western's got to get over the hump.
Yeah, and at this point right now, Western's going to have to play its cleanest volleyball yet. You are inching there. Kentucky sometimes struggles with being able to finish games, especially when they're this close. So really using that to their advantage, and that's not what we wanted to see coming into that point.
9 service errors today for WKU. It's 19-16 Kentucky, and this was an area Craig Skinner talked about to get the 20-plus part of the set, finishing the sets. They've done it so much better late in the year, but it was something that he really wanted his team to keep getting better at. And that time, an expertly placed ball has WKU getting one back again.
Very, very smart shot, and not an easy one either. You really got to put some arm strength in there because tips are usually supposed to be kind of soft touch, but really force that one over there. Really smart.
Rush having herself another good match. She was fantastic off the bench yesterday. 5 kills today. And a service error, a foot fault on WKU, and that is a big mistake in this moment. 2017 now, Kentucky.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that this level and this type of game, little things like that can't happen. You got to be aware of where you're at on the court, but also aware of the points. You were 2 points away from getting back into this.
Serve coming from Whitworth, and it's a really good one. 10 service aces now for the Cats, and they're 4 away from the Sweet 16. Whitworth again back there for Kentucky. Net at the net there.
Those are fun ones. I mean, for everyone involved, getting up to swing and getting up to block. Those are once in a lifetime. You never know if you're ever going to touch it. So big time block that hopefully can get some energy into this Western team to maybe make a late push.
And they need to come back here, down 3. Mosley on the serve. And it's going to be tough to come back when Taylor's hitting it like that.
I mean, great setting decision. I mean, Emma's coming towards the left front. Usually, and most setters will just set their outside hitter, but going against the grain and throwing it completely to the other side of the net, just leaving Ajani Taylor 1-on-none.
Taylor, the team leader in blocks this season. Currently the team leader in kills tonight with 13. That time, Paige Briggs gets a big point for WKU. 22-19 in set number 3. Kentucky won the first 2, 25-17, 25-16. It's been a spirited match. The Cats have taken advantage of good service and some service errors from WKU. And hits like that from Bella Bell.
It's really been nice to see over the course of this year how much she has grown in running that. Early on in the year, she struggled a little bit with that connection, always wailing at it, but now you see they're running and they're moving it, and perfect time to do it as well. 38
assists for Emma Grome tonight on the serve. And Eisenbarger gets a big one for the Tops. Every point now for the Tops is just about do or die. 2 points away from elimination, but they do have a shot here on the serve. Paige Briggs back there for WKU, the senior from Michigan. Rutherford, and that took a tough deflection off of Eisenbarger, and it is both set and match point here with Adana Rollins going back for Kentucky. Kentucky trying to sweep its way to the Sweet 16. But Eisenbarger, she's not ready to go home just yet.
No, and I love that setting choice. That play has been working all night, so what a perfect time to do it when you're fighting a match point.
5 kills for Eisenbarger, 4 blocks. She's been a key factor for this WKU team tonight. On the serve, Grom, Lamb, and it bounced in. Kentucky has claimed a sweep, and they will advance to the Sweet 16. They've won 15 consecutive sets, including 6 here in the opening 2 rounds.